enter this new year. God, bless this meeting tonight. Have your way in all the things that we do. Lord, we look to you in all things. We trust you in all things. And God, we love you. Please let us all get home safe. And God, thank you for Jesus. We ask this prayer in your Son's holy, precious name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, roll call, please.
Dakota White.
Here.
T.K. Austin.
Here.
Becky Golden.
Here.
Jordan Cope.
Here.
Chris Burrington.
Here.
Roger Mason. Larry Daniels. You have the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve December 2nd meetings. Or
Motion to
minutes.
approve, sir.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes for December the 2nd. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we need an update on the convenience center grants. Anyone?
I guess that'd be me, Mr. Chairman. Chad, can I be heard, or do I need to pick up a mic, or? Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, what this is about, we'll be applying for a convenience center grant, assuming y'all authorize this. This was a grant, there's gonna be $1.5 million out there. The applicant, we can request up to $125,000. Which is what we'll be requesting. The match for this will be somewhere between 10 and 50%. The match required is indicated in the convenience center grant match requirement. The local match set forth shall be determined by the department using an economic index based upon the United States Census Bureau, including per capita income, property values, and the county applicant reimbursement may not exceed 50%. So it could be up to a 50% match. But we won't be there. We've done this before, we'll probably be in the 25% match range. The priorities for this is replacing and eliminating unmanned county collection systems. All of ours, we don't pass that stage. The second criteria is to establish new convenience centers in areas that are underserved. Okay, we're not looking to create any additional ones. The third priority is for used automotive fluids. We've already got that, so we passed all the priority stuff. But you are eligible, applicants can use this grant to cover the cost to build or upgrade convenience centers. You're not authorized actually to spend it yet. When we get hard numbers, then I'll come back and tell you, but we have to tell the state, yeah, y'all are willing to do this or not.
So do you just want a motion to move forward with the grant?
Allow me to apply for the grant.
I'll make a motion to allow the county executive to apply for the grant.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with convenience center grants. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I have one more.
Okay.
There is a tire recycling grant that's supposed to be up to around $500,000 to locate a tire collection center. And as y'all know, we have to move our tire collection center. And we were already in the process of working to move it and found a location, and we've already done a little dirt work. But if y'all don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and apply for that grant too, to see if we can get any money back on that.
I'll do with that if y'all are as well.
We've got to do it regardless.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with tire recycling grant. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have on that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. This time, is there any old business? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to new business. Is there any new business?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question about our business.
Okay,
Can I get an update on the recycling grant for the cardboard machines?
All right, we applied a couple, I'm gonna say 2 years ago, don't quote me on that, for recycling grant for cardboard compactors. Those cardboard compactors are located in the landfill, which we've got to now move. And we are in the process of looking for now a place to move that. I've heard that maybe DeKalb County may be wanting to do some bailing or something too, so maybe we can work together with them to come up with a location and a place. We just gotta find somewhere to put them now. The grant it's closed. I think it's closed now. They've signed off on everything. We're good as far as, we're just currently gotta find a place to put them now. A new place to put them.
okay. Do you have like any kind of update on how our old landfill is doing? I mean,
Well, I have a little information, but if you don't mind, I would probably defer to the people that are down there.
okay. Tom?
Come on up, Tom.
Waste management landfill, yes, that is.
Yeah, no update, just through the process of course, the application has been applied for expansion, that's pending, to that approval. Have not yet, I believe, submitted it back in October, November. Anticipated opening the expansion, we can start accepting garbage, this Q3 this year.
Okay.
I will add that, Mr. Chairman, we've had the first month now where we've not had to pay tipping fee in Warren County. So they're
Sounds like y'all doing a fine job.
They're handling everything, down there in-house. We started that about 3 months ago, and there was a couple times, there was little hiccups there, but last month, everything's worked great. First month with no tipping fees.
All right. Okay, is there anybody else from the audience like to address the solid waste committee? Okay, calendar update, Tuesday, January the 21st at 6 p.m. will be our full court. It'll be moved to Tuesday due to Martin Luther King Day. And then Monday, February the 3rd will be the next solid waste committee meeting. And at this time, I will entertain a motion.
To adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
You can come here, end it, and then we'll start another one, and it
Okay.
makes it easier for me.
Okay.
Thomas, you're up.
Come on. Don't you read your text? They swap.
Yeah, I know. She said it's still 5:30.
Well, it is, but, yeah, no, sit here. But we're done with solid waste.
Oh, okay.
So, we're just waiting, I mean, we're waiting till 5:30, but.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause it confused me. I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is it? I don't understand it.
Do we know if is Larry coming?
Supposed to. I just texted him.
Okay. Anybody heard from Kane?
I don't know.
I'll ask him.
Are you texting?
Yeah. Well, he said Larry's supposed to be coming, and I'm checking with Kane, and if Kane's not coming, when Larry gets here, we'll go on. Yeah, we have a quorum.
Muscles ain't coming.
Muscles ain't coming.
He's not coming.
No.
I'm waiting on Kane.
I mean,
Is TJ?
is Kane coming?
I'm waiting to hear. I texted him.
Ain't nobody else. He comes from Cookville now, but I think he gets off at 4:30. No traffic, so it could be this time getting here.
He got forwarded to an automated voicemail.
He can, 'cause a while ago it was facing out towards east. He can remove it somehow. Well, I guess let's roll on.
That's what I say.
That's what I said.
We got enough.
We got enough, we got a
He
quorum.
won't care. And he probably won't be here anyway.
Sounds like
I don't think he's gonna be here, but
She'll go squalling like that. She can't hear
hearing
it.
aids,
She can't hear it.
like the hearing.
Okay, we have a quorum, so we're gonna go ahead and start, our Committee A meeting. At this time, roll call, please.
Kane Rogers, TK Austin,
Here.
Becky Golden. Here. Laney Selby.
Here.
Thomas Ferguson.
Here.
Derek Hutching,
Here.
Larry Daniels. You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve December 2nd's minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approval to authorize reporting of USDA grant. Chad?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is, if you remember, a year or two ago, we received a grant from USDA, Rural Utility Services, the school system did. It's a distance learning and telemedicine grant, but it's for installing smart panel boards in all the classrooms throughout the school system. We're 90% done with that project. We've got a few loose ends to tie up, but USDA has changed their reporting system. And in going through this reporting system, they are recreating their login credentials. And as part of that login credentials, we have to have a resolution from the county commission state giving the authorization to go in and be able to set up users in that. Nothing's changing with the grant. Everything's the same. They're just redoing their process, and I think in that they probably had all sorts of users in there with permissions, and so this is a way for them to go, start afresh for everybody else. So just ask that you send this resolution to the county commission and approve it. It does authorize me to be able to go into that system and add users on this project and any future projects would not have the USDA rural utilities services. I don't know that we'll have any more anytime soon. They'll probably change systems again before then, but this will at least allow us to get through this process.
Just kind of helping us comply with it.
Yes, yeah, we've got to be able to log in to do the reports and submit stuff. And
Okay.
they won't allow us to log in without this authorization.
I'll make a motion to send this to full
second.
court.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to send the reporting authorization grant, USDA grant, to full court. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now then, discussion on Parks and Rec Director. So, Derek?
Yeah, well, Mr. Chairman, it's come out of our work session and slash the Parks and Rec committee about starting the process about hiring a director. I guess, Becky, do you want to, elaborate on some of the discussions you guys have had?
During our last Parks and Rec meeting, there was an update where Steve Clark from Waste Management had came, surveyed the fields, looked at them, had wonderful ideas that he wanted to improve, and he wasn't looking at just improving them. He was looking at a bigger picture for the youth of White County. But in order for them to maybe start the process of helping with that, they wanted some assurance that this was going to be maintained regularly. He was kind of looking more towards, something with a Parks and Rec director, even if it was just somebody part-time to start with. And then the Frisbee golf, they had gave an update that they had people from 8 different states, had over 200 people come for the tournament. There are currently, I think, 200 and something people that have this course in their wish list. Apparently, there is a website for the Frisbee golf that you go on, and they rank the places that they play, and the way this course is designed, it's really outranks pretty much any course in the area, and they're planning on a lot of tournaments happening down there. So we just, are at a point that we kind of need someone to maintain being able as a contact person for all these events that have started up, and we are needing someone to kind of be in that position, whether it be temporary no, I'm sorry, temporary, part-time or full-time.
This has been mentioned different times over the last couple of years, and we've just not had the funding to do it in the past. We have the master plan now. We don't really have anybody to work the master plan to get the grants that's out there for Parks and Recreation. I personally think this is the next step that we need to take in the process. I don't know, guess would we have the county executive start? If it's something we wanna proceed with, do we wanna do it now or have it in the pipeline do we need it before the budget?
Do we need to look into a grant that we had
Talked
50%
about,
match grant, or do we need to look at getting the ball rolling with getting a director or?
Yes, my recommendation would be for us to start this at the new budget year, get our ducks lined up for payment of grants and everything going, and then start it in the next year's budget. Well, I say that because internally that works better. I don't know if that works best for y'all's Parks and Rec schedule, if y'all want to expedite it. But if there's no need for y'all to expedite this and do it mid-year, I would like to have it
Would
in your budget.
a part-time Parks and Rec hurt us as far as a grant, or?
I would lean towards no. I don't think it would hurt.
Me personally, if we can get the process started, I'm not saying that we hire somebody, but if we get the approval going, I don't wanna wait until June and approve it and budget and then start, and then we're August or September or October, November before we get somebody hired. I mean, ideally, my thinking is we approve it and get the ball rolling. We know it's gonna be in the budget for next year, and maybe they can start day one of the new year. July 1. I would like for something to be ready to roll. We can give some reassurances to, I mean, the Little League has been very active at the Parks and Rec meeting, right? When their season, it starts
it's, March.
in March.
They're planning on starting, they're doing registrations right now. Registration will close mid-February. He plans on starting practices in the 1st of March, and then the season starting maybe the end of March, 1st of April.
So we're not gonna be able to have anything much, potentially probably not much done with the ball fields before this season.
This year, we do, if you wanna come up, Jerry, you can help me on this. We do have some wonderful parents who have, we set and designate days as work days, and we usually have a lot of parents show up, and some show up with equipment and do the best they can, and
We have a plan to, kind of help get some of the water off the fields. We can do some minor things to adjust for now, but when he was there, we talked about some big picture stuff. We can cut some curves down to try to get some of the water off the infields and do some minor stuff to get these kids playing ball. We can definitely help do that for now, but I'm 100% for a Parks and Rec director, especially if Waste Management's willing to jump on board to help us.
Yeah.
That's definitely
Yeah.
my input, but I'm at your disposal if you need us, so, thank you.
Thank you. I know that fund has limited funds in it. Would there be enough funds in there if we found somebody quicker than budget year? Chad, maybe I'm putting you on the spot for that question.
don't know how much is left in there.
For a month or two, maybe,
Okay.
that we could float that. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to send to budget, to start looking for a part-time director now possibly, and, or a full-time director at the first of the year, and approve the grant man inmate two. Send, so that's one motion, is to start looking for a director, part-time now with full-time at the new budget session.
Do that one first.
Do that one first, yeah.
Second, Kane second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, start looking for a Parks and Rec director, part-time at first, working into full-time, in next budget year. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Then we need to make approval for Denny Wayne to start looking for grants. We need a motion for that, Denny Wayne, to give you authorization to start looking for the grants. So I'll make a motion to authorize the county executive to start looking for grants out there, so see if we can partially pay for this position.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, start looking for, grants for our Parks and Rec director. Is there any discussion?
Question on, as part of that grant, what have things, job description requirements, and I'm sure it's got all that kind of stuff within it, probably.
The big thing I found was just they had to have a degree. Arts and Rec degree, but outdoor entertainment or outside, I can't remember what the phrase, but they had to have a degree related to, for them to be eligible for.
So that grant itself will define some of our boundaries. Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, any old business?
Can we get a update on the progress of the health department?
I might, Jed, you may need to help me just a little bit. We were hoping that would be ready to go out to bid, in December. We're still waiting on the architect rendering to come back and put out the bid. So, anything different, heard any update? Yeah, we've done everything that we can do on our end.
Have we purchased the property there at the highway department, that corner? That's part, like that went, that's purchased, that's where we're gonna build at, and we're just waiting on that.
Waiting on the architect to put out the bid spec. We're ready to
Ready to move.
start when the bid specs come in, we can put it out the bid.
Where does that leave us with the, where does that put us with the ARP funds? They have to be spent by 26. I mean, I know that's still a ways away, but
That's a real complicated thing, okay? ARP funds, have to be appropriated by the end of 2024, with December, and then spent by 2026. We had, if you remember, we went over this a couple of years ago, but the changes, we had the $10 million limit, and you didn't really have to, you had to appropriate it, but you could go back and like pay yourself back up to $10 million. Anything above $10 million, you had to go through this process. We only got 5.
so we were below that.
So we were below that, and so Chad has done the reporting for that. So there's nothing up there for the rest of that. I think it's even closed now, and we've got one more report cycle. Still got a report here, yeah. But all of our money's accounted for.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any more old business? Okay, I would like to bring up under old business, the sign down at the, ball field. Where are we at on that?
We had a gentleman come and give us a demonstration of a signboard that was half the cost of the megapixels and everything was just extremely great. He's done signs in Smithville for the schools. I think he's done a couple of other, Chestnut Oaks, his parents own Chestnut Oaks, he's got the sign out there. It can be operated from anywhere, but we found out that the grant, the chamber grant that we thought we were gonna be able to use for that, was not quite what we thought it was, so that's off the table. We've actually had to put that back on hold again, because there were some people, that were not happy with, the sign, with how much it was gonna cost, and, wanted us to kinda go back to the drawing board on that. So that's back on the, agenda at Parks and Rec for the next meeting.
We're going on, I think it's pretty much right at 2 years
years.
now on this.
That we approved it.
I would like to, by the time we meet at our next meeting, I would like for you all to take action, some sort of action on some kind of a sign, or we'll pull it back into this committee and take care of it. I believe 2 years is plenty of time
I think it's more than that, myself.
to take care of it. Okay, any more old business? Okay, moving on to new business, any new business? Okay, calendar update, January 21st will be full court. It'll be on Tuesday due to Martin Luther King Day. And then February the 3rd will be our next steering committee A meeting. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. So we got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye.
I've got a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Unless you got something to add to it.
No. I was just had here, Roger wasn't present. I didn't know if anybody else had that, and then there's that to sign.
Okay, great.
Push Jordan up for you. No, yeah, your house.
I'm a nobody, grew up.
Okay, so, am I doing it? Okay.
You do a good job, man. I'm proud of you.
Is he in charge?
I like it. I'm sure that speaker is wrapped around my leg. Okay.
Robert did. Huh? I thought Robert did better.
Okay.
Oh, is he running it?
Yeah, they keep passing it down the line.
It all flows still in.
No, but he's got a head of him, feel like running it right now, so. Okay, we'll go ahead and call steering committee B to order. Roll call, please.
Chris Brington.
Here.
David Cranford.
Here.
Robert McCormick.
Here.
Dakota White.
Here.
Jordan Coates.
Here.
Roger Mason. Kyle Goff.
Here.
You have quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the steering committee B minutes.
I make a
December
motion.
2nd. We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any discussion? Motion carried. Okay, now we'll have discussion on the animal shelter. Do we, have anybody like to speak on that? Sure.
I sent everybody an email on December 8th, and it had 4 attachments, and it was about job descriptions, proposed job descriptions for the shelter manager, volunteers, the dog catcher, and the director, because the positions had split. And I haven't heard back from anybody, and I was just wondering if there's anything that that you've had a chance to look at it, or if there's a discussion that can be had, or if there's any movement toward perhaps considering the job description for legal.
Did you send them to Jennifer, our HR director?
I did not send them.
So,
I'll send it.
okay. I personally, and this is because she's the HR for the entire county.
Sure.
Because I'm not an HR. I trust her opinion on things, so I'm glad Denny Wayne sent it to her. So I would just recommend that this board or this committee refer to her on that, because she'll be the one that will be enacting, making sure it's correct, making sure it meets OSHA, making sure it meets all the Tennessee labor laws and all that.
Okay.
So if she says okay, then yeah, we can adopt something like that, but I don't feel comfortable as myself or this committee making that notion without her approval.
Okay. So should I reach out to Jennifer?
She worked.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the wheels are in motion one way or another, and
I'm sure she's just either gonna mark it up or make sure that it is applicable to the
Good.
current laws.
Okay.
Because that's why she's here. That's why she's paid
Yeah.
and an employee of the county, to make sure that all the other county employees are doing all the things they're supposed to do.
All right.
So,
Very good.
This is done.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can I get your name again?
Yes, Ellen Horvath.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have anything to put in on the animal shelter? Are there any good updates? Okay.
I would dearly love to see those job descriptions approved quickly. Shelter's been open since 2007, and we haven't had job descriptions for those employees. But a job description is only as good as the person that's enforcing it. And I've been volunteering at the shelter for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of part-time employees come and go. Some have been good, some have been not so good. But the one thing was that we always had a strong shelter manager, whether it was Stephanie or Sarah, that was ensuring that they were doing their jobs and doing it properly, and that the animals were being properly cared for. And I just don't feel that that's happening right now. I'm sorry to say it, but I just don't think, no offense to your cousin, but that Madison is the person to be holding that position of shelter manager. She is not the most ambitious person in the world, and how would you expect somebody that doesn't even want to do her job to also enforce and making sure that other people are doing their jobs? Just one example, she walks in there in the morning. We're volunteers. We see it all the time. She walks in there in the morning. She hoses out the pens for maybe 30 minutes. Then she goes and sits in the office for 3 to 4 hours, shuffling papers, doing absolutely nothing. In the meantime, the dog's water bowls are full of feces and urine, because when she hoses them out, it bladders up into their bowls. That's what the dogs have to eat, to drink all day long. I walked my last dog at 12:30 the other day, and that poor dog's water bowl was still yellow with feces and urine that had not been rinsed out. Pick up the dang water bowl, empty it, and rinse it out before you go sit in the office and shuffle papers. Nothing against Madison. When she was a kennel cleaner, she did a good job because she had somebody enforcing it, keeping her in line, making sure she was doing her job. Now she's the enforcer. And she's not doing her own job, and she's not requiring people that are working there to do that job. And I just think something needs to be said to Mike about looking for another shelter manager. He wanted to give her a chance. He did. He gave her a chance. And even he's complaining about it these days. We hear him making comments. So I don't know if you can influence Mike to take a second look at this, to maybe put out a job vacancy announcement for a shelter manager that's going to take that job seriously.
Monica, I have a question. I don't remember if it's last week or the week before, you had mentioned, or someone had mentioned, that you had young kids coming up there and hanging out. Is that still happening?
I don't think it's happening anymore.
Okay.
I don't know who put the brakes on that.
Well, I came
but-
up there and on Saturday, and they were there. I asked them to leave, and I said, because if you're not out here helping, you don't need to be here. And I haven't had a chance to get back up there, and I just wanted to.
As far as we know, we don't think they're coming out there anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. And thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we had some discussion on this topic in our last work session, probably the last work session actually. We had brought up the reevaluate the pay structure and, or to bring it to committee B to evaluate the pay structure, for an actual director's position there, and to see if that's something that we want to take action on to actually hire a director and if we can have equivalent pay for an actual director's position other than just an employee pay position.
Yeah, I feel that's something we need to move, keep that on the agenda, and move forward with.
As it's in the budget.
Mr. Chairman, I received a couple of phone calls, and then I was approached by another individual about a post that was sent on Sparta Chit Chat, about a dog named Maggie that's been there for over a year. And it's very concerning to the people who talk to me about it that we have a dog that's at the shelter for over a year, and they wanted to know why. And they also wanted to know, does every dog stay there for that and those issues that are going on? They felt like there was something that asked us what our policies were and things, and I said we were working towards those. One of the things that I think we need to do before, in conjunction with getting these employees and set up, is we need to address, how we're gonna run the shelter or how it's gonna be run. We only have 18 kennels that are inside, and now we've extended it with some of these others, but for one dog to take up 365 days and possibly plus is something that is concerning to me, and obviously it's several other people who have come to me. I think that's something that we need to start thinking about is what kind of policies are we gonna have, and what are we gonna do to do this? I don't like what's happening, but I also understand how taxpayers are saying they don't want every dog to stay there as long as whenever. So we need to figure out what are we gonna do, and that's something we're gonna have to start looking at, either other shelters policies, other things, or we're gonna have to have some serious discussions with possibly the director and maybe even the new director if that comes about. Because we're gonna have to have a policy they're gonna have to follow. Because obviously that's a little much.
Yeah, I think we could wrap all that up together with a shelter director and the policies and procedures and, all in one big shebang there. Do we need to do a work session on that?
I presented many policies.
I remember.
I'm here to bring them back.
I think that'd be very, very important for us to start looking at. Posts like that, I'm telling you, but there were some upset people talking about it, and we've got to figure out something. It's not something we can just keep pushing down the road.
Dog's been there for years and it's non-adoptable. Is it holding a position, or is it holding a pen that adoptable dogs could have come and gone in that time frame that they could have been adopted, or is it a?
Ladies, y'all know what dog they're speaking about.
What's holding her up? What's holding her up for a year? I mean, as far as adopted, they're
Denny Wayne, do you care to bring those policies back? Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to, discussion.
y'all gonna be next thing.
We have a January 3rd.
13. Did you bring it up in the planning?
The 13th.
Yeah, it was January 13th to the next workday.
Okay.
This is a work session for the commission for the coming year. This,
We're trying to get all our
right.
priorities in order.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. You know, we need
Not
to,
yet.
I mean, I would
Didn't we have a
take any
committee?
my
input
knowledge,
that you
not
get
yet.
from anybody, but we gotta get some kind of policy set up.
Steve Coons as a representative next
Is he? Oh,
That's what we're
But I
gonna
don't
find
think
out.
they've
That's why
scheduled
we-
any meetings or established a committee.
gotcha.
Yeah, Roger's not here tonight. He's the normal chairman and, but
So,
I know he
overall,
was,
overall, right there is, so Denny Wayne, what is Mike Sparks' job? Does he have a job description that he has to do?
He has a job.
I'd like for that, for the next meeting, to bring it in here and let's all look at that right there, is to make sure that he is up to date on his, you know, what he's doing. Yeah, does he get evaluated or anything like that there is? Yeah. So he's no different than nobody else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He ought to be. I'm not saying I'm Mike, he's a good boy right there, but he's no different than nobody else. He ought to get evaluated just like everybody else ought to.
Who else is that?
Everybody should, but they don't. I get evaluated at work.
Go ahead and count.
Yeah.
Chris, that's private sector, but you're not private sector, but
I agree.
I'm not
Well,
arguing with you, but.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not either, he's not being treated any different.
Yeah,
But he's not a director, he's just the Animal Control
He's animal control.
officer, that's it.
All officers.
We were told that he, when Sarah was still there, we were told that he had been director, that Sarah answered him.
Sarah
For
did that.
shelter issues.
I think we need to work on a policy and procedure and try to get something ironed out going forward before we do anything, get it ironed out exactly how we're gonna run it.
Danny Wayne done it a year ago, and it just got set on.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back.
Do we wanna do it in the planning session?
I'm in mind that y'all need to be doing a planning session. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. We'll just add that to the planning session. Okay, we'll move on to, number 6, building codes assistant and rate structure. We need to evaluate, we do need another building codes inspector.
I do have the information on that.
Yes. Because
All right, we discussed, Robert, I think in the planning session, about the price of, building permits, how that's figured. Impact fees was discussed a couple times, of course, also we can't do impact fees as a county. But the way that our fees, our building fees are calculated right now, we have the chart, and I went over that with y'all a couple of months ago, how that is, but, a person walks in and says, I want a building permit. We ask, how much is it gonna cost to build a house? They give us a dollar amount. We go on this fee schedule, look where that falls in, tell them the amount. There's no way to certify whether that's accurate or what that ends up being the exact price for the house. What we're running into is we're having people that are building 1,200 square foot house and saying that the price of this house is $150,000. We have people who come in building a 2,500 square foot house with a garage and saying the cost of the house is $160,000. Obviously, both of those cannot be true. So we got to figure out some way to make this fair and equitable across the board for everyone. So what we're proposing is a cost based on square foot.
Would that be square foot of living space?
Square foot of living space, yes. There would probably, also a cost per square foot of non-living space.
Gotcha.
And we would calculate that price per square foot and then go back to that same fee schedule and put that number in. That way everybody's being treated the same and paying the same ratio for their house. House, a building permit. Now that I can do internally. I don't foresee, there being a motion or anything to be made on that unless somebody has some sort of objection to that type of system. What does require county legislative body action is the price. What are we going to charge? Are we going to continue the rate schedule that we're using? We can't really find it. We suppose, best we can tell, it's come back from somewhere around 2019 to 2022, 23, before actually the ICC standards were used, like what we're using now. You think it's what they call the Southern, the Southern building standard or something like that. We assume that's probably where it came from. For example, let's give a 12,000 square foot house. Right now, if going to the square foot system that we'll be using, that permit will be around $631. Building permit. If we move to we adopted the 2018. If permit schedule, fee schedule. Your fee schedule does come out of your ICC, what you adopt. That price, it would move from $631 to about $1,400, about $800 difference in building. The reason I'm letting y'all know that is, there's your impact.
What was that square footage?
You said 1,200, 12,000.
1,200, I'm sorry, 1,200 square foot house.
12,000.
I'm sorry, 1,200 square foot house, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's going from 18 to 12?
I'm sorry, 1,200 square foot house, yes. I'm sorry,
8 to 14, or 6.
it would go from 6 to 14
But adopted 2012.
by adopting 2012 fee schedule. Now, I'm not saying, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, I'm giving y'all the numbers that are out there. If we, just moving to this, $130 a square foot, puts us right at the same fee schedule that we're doing now.
What was the state doing? The state was doing what we were doing now, correct? When we took it over?
Yes, we mirrored
it, right?
Well, actually, we mirrored the city of Sparta. We wanted to keep it close to the same. But it was, dollar-wise, was close to the state.
Have they done anything different since then?
The state,
The city? Are they still with it?
the city has not. The city is having the same discussion we are.
So it's basically 50 cents a square foot right now. Round numbers, it's 50 cents a square foot, and you're basically saying go to dollar square foot, just ballpark.
Well, you can say that basically. I mean, I'm just letting y'all know that's out there.
If you went to the 2012.
So what do we have to do to go to that fee schedule? Can you do it internally? Or do we-
No, the fees has to be set by the county. Y'all have to make a motion, send it to full court to accept the 2012 fee schedule.
Do you have to accept that, or can it be modified 65 cents a square foot? And that's the rate. I'm not saying do that, please know that. Like, does it have to be a 2012 or a 2018? Or can we as a body, be like, well, we don't want it to go from 50 to $1?
Usually it stays with states, 2006, 2012, 2000.
I don't know that I'm qualified to answer that question.
Just a question,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is a one-time thing that you can do, okay? These people that are moving in here, it affects everything, our infrastructure, our schools, our roads, everything about it. It's gonna affect all of it. And it's long-term that you've got to look at. Yes, going from 50 cents to $1 sounds, bad, but that's back to, you've got to have the foresight to see what it's gonna cost you down the road, and not just go, feeding yourself, hand to mouth. I mean, you need a little in reserve, because it's, at some point, growth is gonna stop, but you're still gonna have the demand on the infrastructure.
How much of that money can be pulled out and used towards the burdens that he's talking about, though? None?
Nothing right now, because it's
Right now,
it's
just
feeding itself. Is that
But what I'm
correct,
saying,
Chad?
though, is how much money can be pulled out of that to go toward the highway department? None?
None right now.
No, I mean.
I'm saying if we're in the green, can
Okay,
it be pulled out and used towards that infrastructure?
Yeah, all of it.
So you could go to D. White Utility or Quebec Walling or whoever,
No, because they're not.
Go to the highway
it
department
would go to the highway department or
or
something.
something like that.
Highway department, schools, go to the
Go to
schools.
school system.
I mean, it's,
Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, sure.
it could go
Fire
to,
department.
I mean, any of the entities here in the county that are affected by this growth, the population growth.
Chad, roughly, how much did that bring in fiscal year, roughly? Current. So if we, and this is just how my brain is working, if we were to effectively double, that'd take it to 240,000. We hire another person, pay them 40 or 50 grand,
grand surplus a year. That is that is great, but 70 grand surplus a year is not going to build a new school. That is not going to provide 4 more EMTs or 3 more police officers or any of that. That's how my brain goes. Like, the real numbers is the real numbers. So if you double it, Jerry's still not enough. It's still not enough. And that's what, and that's where I get, it's not, I'm not saying it should be more, I'm just saying that what, the dollar is not enough to truly have the impact that we're thinking it will be.
But one thing for sure, we have to have a new codes officer. We're absolutely killing the one we've got, and he can't take a day off for sickness, so we have to adjust for that.
Yeah, yep, I completely understand an adjustment, and being able to provide another employee with the county is great, to be able to add jobs. We're a very large employer in White County. To be able to add a career path for somebody is wonderful, which in turn creates economic positive flow of cash because they spend their money here too. So that's just how my looking at, like, 70 grand doesn't fix all the things we've discussed tonight.
70 grand, I mean, the last meeting we had, we was talking about 9,000, how
I
we
know.
could use that
I
somewhere
agree.
else.
I agree.
We could use 70,000 a lot more.
Sure.
Somewhere else.
Mr. Chairman, Kate would like to speak.
Yep, Commissioner Rogers?
I would completely agree with that.
Yeah.
But 70 grand a year is a little over 1 penny.
Can we find out the information on that, whether we can adjust that by the next
Yeah,
work session?
I will try to find out, so what, there's a fee schedule in the code that we adopted, but we opted to go with Georgia code.
Right.
So,
This always
but
goes down.
I can't remember if you can just haphazardly make it up,
Is the
or if you
contractor
have to
always
have
has
a,
the cost
That
out
exactly.
of some year.
Yes.
I will check.
I don't know yet.
Yes, but
I don't know
your
yet.
spec
That'd be good to
builders,
find that out. But
What's
we
that?
do
no.
need
Your
to,
spec builders, no.
like you
general,
said, it's not
that's
fair,
hard.
because that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
People fudging on the amount.
But if we did that, if we did do that, I think, if we did up that or adopt something
Yeah.
different, we need to think about, and not that we have a whole lot of it, but we do need to think about picking up the commercial end of it as well.
We do need to do
Yes,
the
we do.
commercial.
And if
But-
we get another person, we can do that.
We don't, I mean, we're not Cookville, we're not Crossville, but we do have some county dollar stores or stuff like that we're leaving quite a bit of commercial on the table. And that is it's bigger than residential as far as permitting. But there's a whole lot more for him to do, but.
And it's different than residential in the fact that those companies actually want that.
They do, because of their insurance.
And
and
their-
They want that.
Liability.
But I think we need to, if we're gonna look at doing that, I think we do need to look at the commercial side of it.
Yes, that's true. And we may have to hire a commercial codes inspector that's already certified commercial, 'cause that's different than residential.
Is Brett certified to do commercial?
No, I don't think so.
I do think we need to look at that, though. If we're gonna do this, I think we need to look at that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
okay. All right,
I
so
have a question on, before you sit down. I know at the last meeting, we had talked about the current person who's in there with Brett. And that it had kind of been one of the goals for them to get certified, I guess, to go out and do, and they didn't want to. So would that person still have a job, or is this adding another person? My question is, if that.
I don't have a good answer. I can tell you what I know, and
Okay.
having somebody in the office is good. Having somebody that can walk in and ask questions.
Yeah.
If that person in the office, which was my thought how this would work, he was out in the field half the time. The actually post department would not be open, but maybe Monday, Friday, or something like that. So I don't know what is the best. I
what I said the last month, I think our service needs, if we do up it, our service needs to reflect that. As far as people answering the phone or someone being in the office.
Mr. Chairman, if I could say something, so there's technically two things on the agenda under this one topic, and it come out of, the work session is to hire another, codes person and evaluate the fee structure. If I remember correctly from our conversation with Chad, the fee structure as it is currently will withstand hiring another person in that department with that.
Right now, it's breaking.
It's breaking even. It's a wash.
It's a wash.
I just, it seems like we keep the can down the road with everything that we do. And he needs help right now. If we could hire him some help right now, like get that approved now and get that ball rolling. And hash out the fee structure next month or two. So we keep, everything we do, we keep the can down the road a month or two.
Didn't we approve some money to go in for somebody to step in and fill in part-time? We just couldn't find somebody to do that?
I don't think you'll find a part-time code.
Is Laney still open?
He helps when he can.
He covers whenever.
Yeah, but he's not a steady, reliable.
He covers when, like, when Brett's not there. When Brett starts getting behind, he's not there. Brett tries to schedule days on vacation with Landy. We don't ever have two people out in the field at the same time.
So is it possible to hire somebody and then, like Derek was saying, and then work out the fee structure in a month or two?
The fee structure would have to.
I think the fee structure needs to base around that
I agree,
somewhat.
because the fee structure will have to be approved by full court. So if we add another person, it's breaking even now, then we're losing money. We're
We
in a
need to be
worse
in the-
position than we were when the state.
Before we even started.
And then we don't know if this would be approved by the full.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2012 codes fee structure in order to provide the funding to hire a part-time person or a full-time person, a full-time assistant, another codes inspector. I'd like to go ahead and do that, and then we can always go back and look at if we have a possibility of setting that rate at a different thing and change it if we had. But I think, once again, we keep pushing this down. We need to go ahead and do that so we can take advantage of the current building and things that are going on, because we're behind.
So we got a motion, do we have a second? Okay, no second, so.
With that motion dying, go back to a second. I would make a motion to send this to the budget committee for a more extensive review on the actual breakdown of the numbers, so we have more information.
That's what I was gonna say. Chad, could you get us something on, I think it was $8,000 in the green last year from what we brought in to what we spent. I think it's like 142 and brought in like 150 or something like that. I think we was real close right there.
To send a budget for review, further research.
I'll second Kyle's motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to send it for review to the budget committee.
I was gonna
Any
add the
discussion?
commercial end of it,
Yeah, I can.
figuring out the commercial side and up in that, because I really do think commercial, there's some money on the
There
table.
is, there
that's
is.
left. And a lot of them want it for insurance.
So we have a motion and a second. So, do we need to vote on this? Roll call? No.
All in favor?
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, so we'll move on on to the update on the Roland Sawmill. We have an update from anybody on that?
So I had, given this committee, a quote from Summertown Metals for the restoration of that, mill at the old Roland Sawmill, and it was $17,688. There is, a fund specifically for this project that's kind of being housed by the White County Heritage Museum, you might say. They had $10,600 in that fund designated for this project, and they spent $3,500 on the cleanup around the structure there. So that leaves them with $7,100. The quote from Summertown Metals was $17,688. So even if we ask the Heritage Museum to spend their $7,100, we would be over that $10,000 threshold, and we would need to gather more bids. So I don't care to do that. There's been bids that have been gathered in the past, and I could just have some of those reworked, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to put in the effort if I don't think this is a worthy endeavor that could get an approval by this committee. So I'm just looking for a little bit of guidance on, I can get with Chad and we can work this out. I just don't want to go any further if we, the museum is willing to use all of the funds that they have available to them, and they're even willing to do more fundraising in the future. But as of right now, they have $7,100.
So is that going toward your mentioning that the money we had approved?
We haven't approved anything yet. We've taken no action.
There has been bids brought here before, though.
I thought we covered the 3,500. I thought the county,
We did the first cleanup, I know. I think this is the second one, wasn't it?
So the second cleanup, $3,500 cleanup, we paid,
The bush hogger, the.
West,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Westworks,
Westward.
that's
Yeah.
right.
That money, whenever I set up I had a conversation today, with them, whenever I set up that budget, I did the county commission approve, I took that money out of the $10,000 that they had.
Okay.
I'm not sure that that's what they thought, or I thought that's what the commission wanted to do, and I apologize if it wasn't, but I told them today it's kind of broad, as long as we did pay, we were gonna pay that, we'll pay that on the back end, that works out. But yeah, so 3,500, that's where the 35 comes from, out of that money that they raised. The museum had some fundraisers, and then they had that fundraiser down to do it.
And according to my conversations with them, they had no issue with covering the cleanup. That's just where we leave this now. Jerry's helped us out cleaning up around. He saved us a lot of money. It looks good right now, but it's very, very dilapidated. If we're gonna do it, we probably need to do it pretty quickly. Get the ball rolling for a contractor to maybe be ready to start once the weather is friendly.
It'd be worth getting some bids, personally.
I'll show you.
Whatever
So-
the committee thinks.
that's what my question, who's gonna be responsible for mowing, weed eating, spraying? I mean, is that gonna be, who's gonna take care of that? You mow up by the tracks and everything, all the way around? So the highway department's gonna be responsible for mowing it?
And there,
That's good.
and there is a group of volunteers, most notably Mike Henry,
Yeah, McBride's and
working
all
with the Quebec Walling Community Center that has some ideas about what to do with this once it's up and running. I don't think their vision is to pour money into it and then leave it. I think they've got some ideas over a business model that's similar to the Rock Island trolley stop. They've got some ideas similar to that.
I think it'd be a worthy effort.
You want me to, I can gather, I'll work with Chad and the museum and I can come back with more information. Cause even the $17,000 quote, it expired November the 12th. So we may have to have that one reworked anyway, so.
Did it mainly just cover the structure?
Yeah, and it's I can email this out to the committee. It is a very detailed quote. They did a really good job breaking it down.
So, we want to,
I don't think I
You don't need a motion or anything.
so you'll just carry on further and get a,
Yeah.
okay.
I appreciate the highway department.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's good.
that's good.
That's really good.
It's impressive.
Okay. Next on the agenda is old business. Does anybody have any old business?
At the storage for circuit.
Have we, yeah, what about that storage? Have we,
Did we get those 4 units?
did we, those storage units we were looking at, maybe we approved, I think we approved some money.
Thank you.
Okay. So were they the ones, their department responsible for getting the,
I would think so.
okay, so we've not heard anything back, okay.
Is that correct, Chad?
I don't know, Beverly, I know Beverly was there.
Okay. Something in old business, Sharon Langford with the Friends of White County Animals that came explaining about the money needed for the spay and neuter for the cats. And I would like to send that to budget for discussion on the budget committee, because they do a lot to help. And it's a big problem in the county. They put a lot of effort.
I'll make a motion to send that.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. We'll send it to budget. Okay. New business. We've got something Chad has there. Surplus.
Some surplus items, I apologize that we didn't get this in the packet. There are, six EMS, cots, for surplus. One is on the back, the other, 5 are on the front. And then also, there is an Audi A5, 2012 Audi A5 that is for surplus from the sheriff's department. We did not buy the Audi, just in case you didn't ask. It was confiscated, several years ago, and then it got titled, to the county to be used in undercover operations. So then at that point, it becomes property of the county, and it's not sold like a normal drug sale or forfeiture. So that's why, that's the Furno cots we no longer use. We use, the Stryker power lift cots.
I'll make a motion to send full court.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. All right, so there's not any more new or old business. Next meeting is January 21st, 6 PM full court, and then the next committee meeting is February 3rd. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor? We are adjourned. What lad? Hey, you think you left it ready? Okay, so next meeting is what meeting are we doing now? Purchasing, okay. I've got that here somewhere.
You like that? Hey, you can reach out to Lenny is, I'm almost positive, I don't know anybody else that had one.
Get warm.
Chad, is it purchasing now?
It is. I kinda forgot. Let me see.
Didn't ask for an audience. Anybody from the audience want to
Is this financial
chime in?
purchasing? Is this
Purchasing.
Yes.
We don't do that. I'll need to see about that.
Purchasing. We gotta do purchasing.
Yes. I do. Yeah. See you later.
See, Brooke?
This is purchasing?
Yes.
Purchasing.
Purchasing.
Do we have a budget meeting tonight, too?
We do?
Yeah.
I thought we did.
That'll be final, last and final.
We're doing good. It's just 6:30.
Wait a minute. Oh, Robert's chair. Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I
is it
know.
me?
I saw that and I thought, how did I end up? And I remember now I look back at the minutes.
Yeah.
Trent,
Yeah.
Love you, man.
I thought that's a misprint. Derek is the chair.
No. Put Robert in there.
Gotta stay in
I
practice.
want you to be active.
Gotta stay in practice.
What happens when you miss, you get voted.
That's right. That's right.
We ready?
Says,
That's just us.
he's behind me here. I couldn't
Yeah.
see where Chad was. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the purchasing committee to order. And, did we do a roll call on that?
Sure. Robert McCormick,
Here?
Kenny Wayne Robinson.
Here.
David Cranford.
Here.
Derek Hutchins.
Here.
We do have quorum, all right. At this time, I'd entertain a motion for approval of minutes from the September 24th, 2024 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Okay, any opposed? Nay. Okay, motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to number 3, review of procurement process for the county. RFP, recreational park, public Wi-Fi.
Alright, you had I emailed out the documents, the link to the documents. We received one response, in response to our request for proposals for recreational park, Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi project. This is a grant-funded project. Demo and Connect was our proposer, it's 98, out of the score, out of a total of 100, and that's who we'd recommend to make the award.
Okay, did we
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
have a motion, a second, any discussion? Is this a roll call? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Move on to B, schools, RFB, White County Middle School pass-through warming cabin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was a bid for a pass-through warming cabinet at Buchanan Middle School that we're needing to replace. We received 3 bids, with Chet's Steel Restaurant Equipment being the low bidder on that at about $7. That is who we would like that experience in.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Chef's deal.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Does the didn't say on the first one, does this need to go to full court for approval, or is it something we approve in-house? In committee, okay.
You gotta, does the school board need to know anything about that, or is it just?
Contingent on school board approval or anything?
I'm glad y'all are asking this, because when we get through this, I'll explain, because there's probably a bunch of people out here.
No, that's already built into their budget process. This is just reviewing the process.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business?
I wouldn't mind, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
explain this for everybody in the audience. The purchasing committee, the purpose of the purchasing committee is to make sure that the procurement procedure that the county has in place is followed. This committee is not here to approve of the purchase or to appropriate any money. We're here to make sure that money has been properly appropriated, money's went through the proper procedure, that the bid process has been followed as it should have been. This committee does not decide whether it should or should not be followed. That's already went through the process where the school board, in one case, or with the county commission, the county general. That's all we're here for, to make sure that the rules were followed. We're not here to decide whether it's a good purchase. That has its own process.
Thank you, Mr. Executive, for explaining that. Okay, we'll move on. Do we have any public comment for the purchasing committee? Okay, if none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
David did.
I'm glad you added that extra that we've dealt with him before and everything. You, like, you know, just because it's
Just low bid.
doesn't mean that it's the best one.
Yeah.
When you threw that in there, I was like, okay.
And we would feel better too.
Because I was like, man, I don't want. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, well, I don't know what the whole standard is there, but that was like 20% lower than some of the others. So I was like,
Do you have all the budgets printed on for us too, by chance? Now you're up, TK.
Budget committee. All right.
If I took a picture of it just so I have the agenda.
All right, we'll call the budget committee meeting to order. Everyone's present. We do have a quorum. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the December 2nd budget committee meeting.
Motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. We're gonna move on to the fiscal year 2025 budget amendments. We'll start with the general fund. These first 5 items do have to go to the county commission. We'll turn this over to Mr. Markham, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first amendment is a $6,000 budget amendment. It's to appropriate funds donated to the Sheriff's Department, Animal Control, and EMS by White County citizens. Made 3 separate donations of $2,000 each to those institutions and so to those departments. So we're just appropriating that for their use in the meetings. Amendment number 2
that,
$3,698. It ended up being a lot better of a turn. Ended up working out a lot better than we anticipated. Any questions? Amendment number 3 is $10,150. This is to appropriate funds from the sale of surplus vehicles for equipment and to cover the cost of insurance recovery for the replacement of a red Crown Victoria at the sheriff's department. So $6,500 for equipment, $36.50 for above the replacement cost of the insurance for Crown Vic, and that's coming from sale proceeds of equipment at the sheriff's department.
we're just moving that from one line to the next.
It's not an additional
Okay.
anything out of the county. It's money coming in that we're
It's unfortunate that the sale of that equipment couldn't go to something else besides a wrecked vehicle. To replace a wrecked vehicle.
Amendment number 4 is training opportunities of the public or the top grant for the state of Tennessee Department for Secretary of State's Department. It's used by the library to provide digital literacy training to residents of Watt County. This is a yearly grant that they receive of $2,650. So that's money going in, and that'll be one for communication devices and then other contracted services for folks to come in and provide that training. And then amendment number 5 is economic and community development. This is to appropriate the broadband ready communities grant funding, the majority of which will be utilized for the Wi-Fi at the Watt County Highway 70 recreational complex, which the purchasing committee just approved the bid on that for the public Wi-Fi. The $76,962 federal grants.
Thank you, Mr. Markham. Out of those 5, if I've looked over it right, the only impact on the fund balance is that small portion of the repair for the Bonnycroft Volunteer Fire Department. Just under $4,000. The rest of this looks like good news. We can entertain a motion to approve all 5, or we can pull them out and vote individually. Feel the need.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Austin,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Cranford. Any conversation or questions?
I would like to go back to the first one, Chad, on the donated money that we're allocating to the sheriff's department and animal control. I know we have been questioned in the past about donations. Is there stipulations on this money? Was there stipulations to it? Like, how is that gonna flow? I wanna make sure I understand if I get questioned later.
No, it was just a pure donation. Thank you for your contributions to the community.
That we see fit, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all 5 budget amendments are approved. We have one more amendment coming from general fund. This stays within committee. Mr. Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This one does stay within committee. It's to reallocate the state health department grant funds within the grant budget for language interpretive services which are required. Moving $2,000 out of the medical insurance line and creating that in the interpretive services line. Again, this is state health department grant. We're just reallocating that money in the budget to better.
Again, sounds like good news. This stays within committee. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that amendment is approved also. Move on to the school federal projects fund. We have, no, I'm sorry, move to general purpose school fund. We have one item that stay here within committee. Mr. Mark?
I'm not certain, but I do have another amendment. Yes, this stays within committee. This is really just changing the classification, the county code, for the state of Tennessee preschool special education program, changing it from other state education funds to the child education. There's no change in the program. It's stayed within committee, and it's already been.
Can we have entertain a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion.
Or I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Hutchings, second by Commissioner Cranford. Any other conversation? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, amendment is approved. Now we move on to school, federal projects. We have one that also stays within committee.
Yeah, so if you will skip over the one that I have included there for the general school fund, we'll pick that up under new business. Sorry about that. And if you go to the one that is on the landscape. Correction. This is a $15,000 budget amendment for the special education program IDA Part B. This is the main special education program. It's transferring funds for salary, bus drivers to transport sped students to special ed budget for additional costs, speech services for special education. This is school federal project fund, so it's all grant funds. It's just changing it in the grant budget for students. This has been approved by the school.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve, to send this one
It does not
sends,
have to go to county commission.
this one stays with them, okay.
Have a motion? I second. Any second? Any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it is approved. Let's move on. If it's okay with the committee, we've got a couple people here that would like to address the committee. And we'll go ahead and do this so these people can get out of here on a cold night. Let's move down to new business. We had one item coming from steering committee B. This was the funding for the Friends of White County Animals for the spay and neuter of the cats in White County. This can be discussed now because Monica has offered to stick around and answer any questions in lieu of Miss Sharon Langford, who couldn't be here tonight. So just a little background. Miss Langford came to us, Chad, you may remember, probably 2 to 3 months ago, and had requested $5,000. This is the preventative maintenance side. They don't work necessarily with the shelter. This is out in the field working on education and spay and neuter, and specifically around the work with cats. And we did not give her an answer that night, and it was brought back up tonight under old business in Committee B and then sent to this committee for discussion. Any thoughts?
We just got $2,000 allocated to donated. I think that would be a good start to put that towards that right away. I know that's not the total amount she was asking for. Maybe we could do something else, Chad, but it just says for animal control on that, so I was thinking that would be a good start.
That money's appropriate, correct?
Is it?
Or is that?
Well, so that money, would have been for our budget amendment here, that we approved. It was directed for the, shelter.
So just one
Okay, so
thing,
it couldn't do it. Yes.
So
Yes.
the other donation that we had that's always in question, there was some restrictions to those funds, or was it restricted to dogs specifically?
It was restricted to the animals.
To the animal shelter, so there again, that can't be allocated for this either, then, right? 'Cause it's-
I wouldn't
I wouldn't think so.
This is just, it is a 501c3 separate from
Yes.
the shelter. So I do think that's pretty.
Historically, we have split that city.
I know, Sharon told me she's been in contact with Tanya, and they were gonna bring it up, Thursday night, it's their next meeting. It's gonna be discussed. But she's been to them and been in contact with them. She didn't give me any indication on whether that was hopeful.
How, has it been a 50-50 split in the past, or has it been a 60-40, 70-30?
There was a 50-50 grant, so we went 25-25 city and county to allow, is that right? And to allow
Yeah,
them to capitalize on the other 50% of the grant. That was the last time that I can remember, that we have funded this specific group. I will tell you, at the YMCA, we have put out a cat house on the side of our building to try to monitor the 10 or 12 cats that come out at night. I don't know where they are during the day. I do know this is an issue in the city and the county both. I would love to be able to help, and I would also love to hear back on what the city does. Sharon.
Yeah.
You can do a motion
To approve contingent,
have a contingent on
the city.
or was 5,000 our half?
No, I don't, that's not,
Well, can we do it to match the cities?
I'd be careful on that, because what if they say we're gonna give 10,000?
I would be willing to take the risk.
Mr. Chairman, I think it was, the total amount was 10,
yeah.
5 from the city, 5.
I do think you're right, because the last grant was 10, and that grant has fallen off. They're trying to maintain their funding at 10. That doesn't mean that the committee's obligated. So the grant's still on the table for this? Okay.
We have already got, over the years, the money that you all have, not us, but and city given has totaled about 10. So that 2 lots grant, we have had a donor who has said that they will match whatever. Individual, not no longer individual.
And that money by the donor would go straight to the group, Friends of White County.
Can we, afford to give $5,000 to that in a way? Do something? Because the cats are as big a problem as the dogs are right now, that's for sure.
We don't have a shelter for cats.
No, we do not. And I personally know Miss Langford, and she does an incredible job doing a lot of these things. And that organization does a lot, an awful lot. I'd really like to help her.
Can we
So
work
one
the
thing-
numbers, Chad? Can we, is it possible to do that?
Yeah.
So is this something?
Well, what about if we make a motion to match up to $5,000 of the city's donation?
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so this money is contingent upon the city contribution, correct?
Initially.
If the city doesn't.
And we'd have to.
If they don't, then we'd
appropriate
revisit.
funds,
Then we revisit.
Is this,
And-
go
No, I'm
ahead.
sorry, the combination of those two funds could be matched by the private.
That's between you all.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to do with us.
In the past, you all have given anywhere from 2,000 to 20,000, and the city was given. When that offer was made, when, that,
Okay, well,
$5,000.
up to 5,000.
this is a good problem to have, right?
It is a very good
So
problem to
we have
have.
a motion and a second on the floor. Any other, were you gonna say something?
The only other discussion I was gonna say is, if we're gonna do this every year, should this not be part of our budget process? If we're gonna, as we allocate to the rescue squad and the fire departments and the,
I think this could be something we
That's,
talk about. in
I don't,
nonprofit.
it's kind of back to the 501(c) thing where
we're giving money
we're
and
giving money with no strings.
oversight.
Yeah, that's, I would
That's a
believe
good
I'd
point.
rather see it come
I
back
just
to
don't know what
us
the long-term would be on that.
every year. Even though it's,
Okay,
Motion second.
motion and second. Anything else? All in favor say aye.
uh,
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, we're gonna bounce around just a little bit here. This is quasi business, I think. We have, Ms. Tina Lomax is gonna address the committee. If you don't care to come up, I think we all know you, but if you'll state your name.
Yeah, I'm Tina Lomax. I'm kind of coming at you today from two sectors. I'm the executive director of Seeds of Hope, which we are a local 501(c)(3). We work with the homeless population and those suffering with addiction. And also, I'm the president of our White County Anti-Drug Coalition. And what I want to kind of talk about tonight is the opiate abatement money. We have now received 2 payments. Well, first of all, I guess I should go back. Do all of you all know what the opiate abatement money is?
I do not.
I do not either.
Okay. So the opiate abatement money was a lawsuit that was won from 3 of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. Those companies are Amerisource, Cardinal Health, and McKinsey. And then there's a lot of underlying manufacturers up under that, several of the manufacturers. But it's basically a settlement resolving the opiate claims that were claimed against these companies. And if you don't know about the opiate crisis, it is astronomical right now in our area. I mean, in Tennessee, we know opiates have killed thousands of Tennesseans. It's broken families. It's ruined families. It's overrun our judicial system, and so on and so forth. In 2023, we received, our county, all 95 counties received money from the opiate abatement funds. In 2023, we received $138,834.73. That was in 2023. And then in 2024, we received $137,278.03 for a total of $276,114.66. My question to you all, what's going on with the money? It's not been dispersed. I do know that on October 23rd of last year, there was to have been a readout of how the funds were spent. Again, March 24th, there's another readout that's supposed to talk about how those funds have been spent. I've been in contact with Mr. Robinson several times. We had one meeting at the county over here. There was myself, somebody from the sheriff's department, somebody from the city. We were there, Mr. Robinson, kind of at the very beginning of this. That is all we've really heard of this. This money, guys, needs to be in the hands of those of us that are, working with the population that's suffering. I know that there's some specifics on how it can be handled: prevention, treatment, maintenance, harm reduction, recovery support, ongoing opiate-related work, education, training, and so on and so forth. What I keep hearing is, I don't know how to spend the money, and it's not a shot towards Mr. Robinson at all, but, he keeps telling us, like, I've never had nobody that suffered with addiction. 23 years in recovery myself. I've suffered. Thank God I'm not there anymore. But there are people that are dying in our community. And we all are lacking resources. That's the one thing that we're lacking is resources. And this money is here. So I just kind of want answers like, you know, if there's a process that we need to go through, like, give me the process. We want to do this. I know that Judge Meadows and I have been in correspondence of trying to get something together to present, but we don't really know what we're supposed to present. So I'm coming before you all. Help. Help us, help those that are suffering. This is a lot of money in our county, and I also would like to add that this is an 18-year grant. Each year it does go down a percent, but as you can see, 2023 and 2024, the numbers, if any of y'all would like to see these, I can show you what each county has received. It's just went down a small amount. That's a lot of money just sitting here. And I want to be able to utilize this. And with my organization, Seeds of Hope, we are building a permanent location right here in this city. And it is mainly for homeless, but we have got 2 beds allocated specifically for respite. And what that's going to look like is those that are suffering from the opiate addiction, that they can come in for respite time. And what that is we can take them out of the situation that they're in. A lot of times you can't get them into treatment immediately. They need some time of respite away from the situation so that we can get them facilitated to where they need to go. So we're going to have 2 beds available for that. We're going to need a navigator. We're going to need to hire a navigator that's going to be able to handle this for us. So that's how we want to utilize some of this money. For the Anti-Drug Coalition, obviously, I think that's going to be more of the education department. And obviously for us too, with Seeds of Hope, the prevention and those kind of things, treatments, that's what we would like to do. So that's kind of it. If y'all have questions for me, I'll answer, but obviously, I'm very surprised that you all as our county commission did not know these funds were here.
Well, I have heard of it before. I just couldn't remember the name of it, so I've actually seen it before, and I've been to several meetings on it and heard about it. I just honestly do not know where the money is either, so I will be looking into that and looking to see what we can find out. And
I've heard that people are
figure
wanting
out.
to spend it on the roads. Please tell me that's not going to be true. Please tell me that's not going to be true.
I don't think.
There's a lot of needs in that area, and it isn't just one, and I know that, but there's a lot of needs, and I'm sure that it is something that we can look into and see.
Okay. Should I just come back to you all? I don't know. I mean, is this something I should work with Mr. Robinson or?
Can we get like some guidelines, kind of how the money is to be spent, or what
Yeah.
can be spent
I
on?
mean, I can
or-
give you, there's 2 pots of money. There's one that's come from what we refer to as Brown Greer money. And then there's money that's coming from the state opioid council. The state opioid council money is the one that has the most restricted. The Brown Greer money, we can use to offset costs that we've already incurred.
Litigation, you can use it for reimbursement on attorney fees.
I can't believe I worked there. When you die, they send you autopsies, or autopsies. Brown Greer money we use to offset expenses. The abatement money from the council, we've got to do. Well, just like what she said, it's either preventive or something that helps. That's where I've been working. Me and John talked about this probably. Just Bell's probably talking about this week. What is the best way? I've had 50 experts come to my office. I've been several meetings. Chad and I both went to commercial, but we is county money. We can, if I want to see it, try to help them. I need some help, on how the best way to distribute.
Do you know, I'm asking a lot off memory, but do either Chad or do you know how much money is in each one of those buckets, the Brown Freer versus the state opioid?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Tina was
State bucket 2, right? Okay. And then there's another pot. Yeah.
And the
that we
Brown
have
Freer money
access
is
to.
for you all. It's not for us as agencies to be able to touch, to my understanding, correct?
I mean, it's nothing wrong with being dispersed out,
Right, okay.
but it's not illegal.
So the 137 and 138 that you referenced is specifically to the second bucket of funds.
That could, I can't
Yeah, that's
say.
the opiate abate. That
Well,
is
see,
to be
there's-
out to agencies and those that are.
And Chad, those figures feel relatively close like that, okay. Would there be anything wrong with a subcommittee of a diverse, a couple nonprofits in the committee, you, Judge
I've
Meadows?
worked with the judge, sheriff, police chief, she was there, trying to get out ideas. I'm really leaning hard on the judge, he sees this. Talked about a counselor, some of the counselors people talked about a drug court type situation.
But that still doesn't help your normal addict that may not have a drug problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, those that haven't made it that far yet, to the judicial
I'm
system.
curious about the cost of Narcan these days
Yeah.
and how available it is. We have EMS back here, and I'm worrying, some of that money I know should be allocated to cover that.
We have plenty of Narcan through the Tennessee Mental Health Department, like I have plenty at my office, and I do teach the trainings as well. I don't think that we necessarily need, because Narcan has its own grant. And so this, I really want to go for the people that are hurting in our community, and there's a lot of them.
But let me send some information to y'all, and I apologize, I probably shouldn't have done that. But, so y'all get kind of an idea of what she's even talking about. I mean, you explained it well, but y'all are just kind of hearing this. And let's start around. This committee I appointed doesn't necessarily have to be the standing committee for it. We do.
Sounds like a good group, though.
Yeah, sounds like
It's
you're
a really good group.
kind of exactly what I was
Big-
thinking. In our limited time together as a budget committee, we're not gonna be putting together proposals on the best way to spend this, I don't think. But it would be good if a group like that could bring us, here's
Something.
3 options, yeah.
And I think there's enough money that we could do many options.
Yeah.
There's many of the sectors of this that we could work out. The point is, we just don't need it set here. We need it to be working for what it was allocated for, and that is opiate, that is for the opiate epidemic.
But this money, another thing you get to take into consideration is this money's going, we're going to get we're going 3 years of this 100,000 plus money. It's going to drop quick to probably less than 50,000, maybe less than 10,000 when you get out to year 18. So it's hard to come up with. We just got to be careful, and make sure the
Don't
recurring.
count on it every year.
The recurring
recurring
income,
side of it. I
the
hate-
expense doesn't outweigh the
Yeah.
income. And another, nothing against you at all, this is not directed towards you, but when we allocate money, like this, we have to be very specific about what it goes to, because,
Absolutely, as you
for-
should.
to make sure that it's spent properly. So that adds a whole nother level of complication to it.
And that's my main concern is the future, is if that money isn't there, where do we go from there? That's the big.
Well, you have to start with anything. You have to
Yeah.
start.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the thing that I see in where I'm at is agencies have problems getting things started. Once things get started, that upfront cost, then there's other grants and things that they can piggyback off of. It's just that initial startup. I can do to help, Mr. Robinson can tell you, I've been on his phone more than once, like, what is up? Like, we need this. And so,
We believe that.
yeah, by all means. But, you know, I want you all to do what is right. I want this to serve our community. We have a lot to be thankful for because our overdoses right now are on the downward spiral. And I think that is because we're more in the community and things are happening. We do have Narcan and things like that right now. So, we need to keep our numbers going in that downward spiral, so.
Thank you, and really good job breaking
Thank
it
you,
down.
thank you.
And I appreciate you bringing this up, because I get busy and stuff falls off my
Yeah.
radar. I don't know why I haven't said that to y'all.
So can
I
we
have to
put
do this on you.
so can we put to, Executive Robinson to get us some literature before our next budget meeting so we can review and then have it back on the agenda again for next month?
Is that good?
And then what does someone like myself that is interested in this need to do? Should I just come to the next budget meeting and?
We're consistently the first Monday.
Your committee meeting.
Is there another scheduled meeting for that?
Would it be possible to schedule one before our next meeting?
Assuming all parties to make it, I would make sure that
And then we're consistently the first Monday.
Okay, first Monday.
In this room right here. Yeah.
We just have to get something that we can move on.
Well, and thank you.
Okay, let's go, back up and let's review the fiscal year.
We had one more, didn't you?
I'm
Chair?
gonna come back to old and new again.
Okay.
I just wanna be able to look and get out of fiscal year. Fiscal year 2026 budget calendar. This is, adopted by the committee, correct, Chad? And I did look over this in advance. It looks very, very consistent with what we have did the last several years, at least since I've been on the committee. Does anybody have any questions for Chad or any comments on the layout of the calendar?
I do just want to comment, Mr. Chairman, the special call meetings, I've kind of plugged in.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not necessarily going to happen, but I just try to put it on the calendar. And we do need to work with Mr. Allison. Mainly we started June 16th and work our way back from the fire day.
This takes us up to June 16th, adopting the final fiscal year 2026 budget before July 1, which we did every year since you've been here, right?
No.
Close? No? Close?
That's 7 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, we've done it 10 years.
I'll make a motion to
Motion
to approve the budget calendar.
I'll second.
And second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, calendar is adopted. Okay, we'll go back to, new business. We did have, a discussion coming out of Committee A, Chairman of that committee, Commissioner Austin. This was around the Parks and Recreation Director. That was to come before this committee, correct?
Yes. Yes, it was. Parks and
Would you guys
Rec.
care to give us just a brief rundown?
So we've,
Go ahead, you.
So we've talked about it in a work session. We talked about it last year about a possible Parks and Rec director. I made the motion, out of for Mr. Robinson to start looking for a director. There's enough money in the funds balance that if someone was found before the new budget year, that we could allocate those funds to hire someone, with the intention of having a director budget discussion for 25.
So Chad, you would need from this committee approval to basically create a department and a position, correct?
Yeah, we need the, pay the person and so forth. I may be wrong, but I think that if you are looking at this action, nullify grant.
Can we go ahead and, get an executive assistant for
We hire a
that are,
temporary,
that are qualified to be a, Parks and Rec director?
And would this person be starting at the pay that they're gonna be compensated once they are? I just don't,
I mean,
if that's the title, I'm
it's, you know, if you, all depends on what you're looking for. I mean, you know, if you want
well, no,
somebody that
just,
would
the
be
thing,
qualified.
if that's the title that we use, executive assistant, and they're getting paid what they will be paid when they're Parks and Rec director, that's gonna be more through, I would assume. And that makes me a little uncomfortable if that's how it's gonna be structured.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know it's semantics. We don't need to call it executive assistant.
okay,
And we could take a part-time route to start with, but then the pay's not gonna be enough. That's not gonna entice a competent person to come if they don't know how long they're gonna be on part-time pay.
that's true.
So,
they don't actually give a, do they give a baseline or anything? I mean, of requirements?
Do we have another county that we can mimic off of by chance?
as far as pay,
Pay, job description,
I did a lot of work, pay, about 35 counties in the state, back, all those within 20% of our population size.
okay,
Our range was from 41,000 to 57,000.
I remember that, yeah,
Now, I didn't do any work with job description, but I think that would,
that'd be coming easy, but
or the executive's got enough contact.
I don't know of anybody that's on this grant. Of course,
If we just had a grant writer, that's on the agenda next.
Well, why don't we hire a grant writer? That could be a.
That doesn't solve your conundrum.
Yeah.
That's qualified as a,
So,
well, if they work as
Let's-
grant
let's-
writer until we,
let's just establish a pathway, which way we're gonna go.
Yeah,
I think if we're relying on the grant, we're gonna have to be a little bit more patient than we're being right now.
I know Derek's probably gonna pull his hair out, but I think we need to decide on that grant, which one we want to go. There's a couple of them out there. I can't find that one pays 100%. I think it must be gone. They get that to you and say, hey, this is the route we need to go. This will be the qualifications. This will be what we do. And we can pull the trigger. And if y'all want to go ahead and appropriate some funding for that, go ahead and start the process. Maybe have it already in motion.
So we need a motion, do we need to make a motion for you to start looking for the grant funding?
No, I can move you with that motion.
I think we've already,
I thought we did
we've
too.
already done that out of, hey,
Yeah,
and forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I was thinking that the plan was for a part-time person up to the first year.
that's,
yeah,
how do we, that's,
and how do you do, in the,
how do we fund that and not
Mess up the grant.
mess up the grant?
I mentioned this in A, we have a lot of great ideas and we never follow through with them, and I would like to, this is on the topic for budget, for the new budget. I just like to have somebody hired in July or August. We need to show, some people that are willing to donate some money that we're serious, and if they do work at the ball fields, and that we're gonna have somebody to oversee that. And if we wait till July or August to look at hiring somebody, then it's gonna be September, October before we hire somebody, and then, it's just that much later and later and later. We just keep everything.
Is it the title that keeps us from running into the grant issue? It's just the title, right?
Can we hire a ball field director?
I don't know if we wanna get in the, I don't know if we wanna set the precedent on moving things around like quite this much. And assistant that's, we know is not gonna be assistant long-term.
But that assistant could apply for, could've.
I mean, if y'all are going, feel confident that the budget committee is going to do this, just let me get to work on it. And fill those voids, and, because even if y'all vote tonight to hire somebody, odds are it probably gonna be, it ain't gonna be done by next month anyway. Unless just right person come in. Let me go ahead and start the process of what we would have been doing if we're gonna hire.
I think there's enough movement in this direction, it's not a waste of your time.
Yeah, I don't
If
think
that
so.
helps.
Yes,
If that
Yes.
helps.
Yes.
Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. I just don't wanna go through all this, and that's why I said something about appropriating some money, but I feel like y'all will. Let me find.
Okay, there was another item out of, committee fee, and, that was around the fee structure, the building fee structure. But I think that was gonna be coming to this committee for review of numbers after we get some more information. I don't think there's any action that we can necessarily take tonight unless you guys wanna have more conversation.
I like to have more conversation, not necessarily about fee structure, but about hiring a codes person. He needs help right now. He needs help right now, and that keeps getting kicked down the road like everything else, but the Parks and Rec, I mean, that can wait. We have a vision for a future for that, but codes needs help. They needed help in November when we discussed it in one of our other meetings, and I would like to move forward with another person in the codes department. I know we're basically at break even on that. The fee structure is it has to change. He needs help regardless, even if the fee structure doesn't change. We're still providing a service for our citizens to make sure that their houses are up to code and they're not buying, whether it makes money or not.
Every month that this goes, that's money that you'll never recoup. I mean, it's not something that you can wait, 6 months, 2 months, 3 months. I mean, if you've done, $10,000 a month, that's $10,000 a month, you're not ever gonna recoup if, we don't take some kind of action on this.
Housing can only go down from here. It's not, I don't see it going back up like we've had, that we've already missed out on. Chad, the current situation is we have one certified codes person and then a part-time person, but he's only part-time when the certified codes guy is on sick or on vacation or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the salary that we're paying for the full-time person currently? Is that he's the director, so what would a fee structure be for a certified codes person that's not a director? I mean, what kind of, I guess, what does he make? I mean, we should expect to pay $40,000 or $45,000 for a
Yeah, I would be on a good person.
lot of,
I know for a fact that the commercial,
62.
Sorry, I'm Chad.
they want the inspections. They want it simply for the liability. They, some of these factories that I do work in here in the city limits, they'll have me go buy a permit just so they can say they had a permit.
We got 5 months left. Which we're going to hire some, I mean,
If you appropriate 25,000 to the end of the budget year, I think
that's what I was trying to get at. We appropriate. Well, 62 divided by 12 is 5166 a month. 5 months left is 25,800. But the reality of getting somebody hired in January is probably next to none, I would assume. So you got February, March, April, May. Well, June, 5 months is 5 months is 25,000, and that gets us
They're
within
gonna,
ballpark, right? And
they'll work under our director, right? So, I mean, there needs to be a paid gap there.
I mean, 25,000 is going to get us in the ballpark, but
certified.
so
Are we looking at that, or are we just looking at somebody initially, and then?
Brett's gonna be commercial certified.
Okay.
if we hire somebody that's just certified, then he can get his commercial. Brent can get his commercial certification.
My understanding is we're ready to pull that trigger now, if we can get him help, because right now he can't.
He can't do it without any help.
Okay.
So, in all reality, this motion is contingent on this person it has to pass full court with the contingency of it being a full-time position in the next budget cycle, so it's kind of all tied together. I'll make a motion to hire a full-time codes person with allocating up to $25,000 to get us through the remainder of the budget cycle.
Like I said, we'll try to go ahead and get that.
It'd be good if both were certified.
Yes,
Both.
I
Across
agree.
both.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Okay,
Good catch, Mr.
could we, I know 25,000 through June 30th, but could we lay out how that's gonna be broken up?
I'll bring it up.
How, like,
You need more specific.
I can just make it work if we need to.
like, what is their salary gonna be for a full fiscal year?
I mean, that would be,
Something we talk about
That
in
would be
budget, I think.
I just don't
I mean,
think, I don't
like,
think this person should
later
make
on.
$1,000 less than his director or supervisor.
Take it 10% difference.
Hey,
What was it?
that would bring it, well, that's still, over 56. Yeah, yeah.
I said allocate up up to 25.
Yeah.
So Chad has room to, like he said, he can work out as long as he don't go over the 25 for the remainder of the year, then we can get a structure back. He needs some autonomy to make some, it's 5,000 a month or 4,800 a month or whatever it is to fall under the director position to make that.
I just don't know that Chad would be comfortable with.
So-
that, but
So as that, at that, 10% less, we're breaking that out into round numbers, adding in benefits for 5 months, like 27.
Let's say he starts on February 1st.
Yeah, that's saying it starts on February 1st, so that's 27.
Can we
Right, so,
amend it to 27.5?
yeah. That's it.
If you drop it to 12%, guys, the thing about it is, I've talked to the mayors around us, they're, Butler County doesn't know like 50%. There's several counties that are looking. So we may be at the point where we hire somebody that's just about to be qualified or something, that is paid at the lowest. Until they get there. So when we get that certification, then we're looking for, that 10% less cost.
Now, obviously, I can't speak for Grant, but for 4 or 5 months, if we're coming in close, even if it's the equivalent, is he really gonna jump up and down if somebody's making the same as he's making, because he needs help that bad? Until we can get to the new budget cycle and reevaluate his pay as well.
I don't know.
Was it gonna,
If this goes full court, I'll have to do it.
I mean, I don't wanna tie one arm behind your back and say, no, we're only gonna allocate 20,000, and then you find the right person and it takes 27,000, and then here we are back again, not had approval to give him help.
Well, if you appropriate the money, you know,
Yeah.
So the motion on the floor is 25,000.
I'm comfortable.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Maybe amend it. Yeah, let's do it too. Good. $25,000.
Oh, well, then, yeah,
What would you want to say? I'll amend my motion to change it from 25,000 to 28,000.
I'll second. So, we'll make
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion on the floor is for $100,000 appropriated for full-time code director.
No.
Or not director, codes,
Full-time codes
so we're gonna.
employee inspector.
Through June 30th. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The amended motion. Okay. Now, we didn't want to have any other additional discussion about the actual fee structure, correct?
Is there any objection?
I think that's the most fair way. The discussion ought to be that I heard, I mean,
if we can, if we can adopt that code or whatever, and something in that direction is better than what we got out of the B or A or whatever, B committee. I mean, it was like, something's got to go, one way or the other. if we've got to, if we can come back and change it at some point, that would be good, but, I mean, something's better than nothing at
And
this
the-
point.
Every month we wait, just like he said a while ago, was another month. I mean, they're,
I'll change
I try,
how we come up.
there's, basically, there's nothing that we can do right now. I mean, we shouldn't do it off the cuff right now. We put it back on the agenda for us to move on, to have that,
With your motion, in budget,
Just review and
review and decide.
conversation, yeah. It's, I mean, it'll have to be voted on at full court anyway.
regardless.
So, I mean, we're not making this decision without
With
the
it.
rest of the commission.
I think Cobra
We can-
was one today.
So if, yeah,
I know exactly.
we can't make it, we can't list it as an amount per square foot, or we have to go by, you don't know if we have to go by some kind of code or not.
Well, we can make a, $130.
We don't have any information that we can't make an educated decision tonight on that, because we don't know.
No, but you can get a pretty good idea. We know what rate, what year. Double that. Double eight.
We just don't know if we can base it off that. That's not how we could word the motion.
No, we can't. I say, I'm not, have to have that piece. Piece here is not, it's on the price. But how you come up with that price?
So,
So
if we just said, hey, we're gonna charge $1.30. So you had mentioned in So, based on your number, if we double it, you had mentioned $631 to $1,400, which is a little over double. That was at $1.30 a foot, right?
Yeah, that's still using $1.30 a foot. I mean, I wanna be careful here, because we're on everywhere. We're not basing it off price per square foot. We're basing it off this fee schedule, how much a half costs for the house.
Right.
But how you determine how much it costs for the house is what we're.
It's what we're basing it on,
What
what we're working towards.
Yeah.
So if we assign a figure to the square footage, then it don't matter if you're building 900 or 9,000, it's gonna be the same for everybody.
The same for everybody.
And based on what we're doing right now, it's equating to $631 for a 1,200 square foot house, based on the numbers that we've been doing right now. Did I understand that from?
That's where,
I don't really have the accident number. That $631 is based on us putting a value of $130 per square foot. Right now, it's just an honest system. You'd have to go back and see how much square footage everybody's telling you they're building, there's like a building for, but that's figure out what happened. I just know that we've got some people coming in building a 1,200 square foot house for $160,000, and we got people building a $2,000. That's not possible. If the person that's building a smaller house is paying too much, or the person that's building a bigger house is not paying.
I would like to assign an amount, just some sort of amount per square foot. Is that,
That's why I was gonna do $130.58.
Per
That's
hun-
y'all per square foot.
Now, where did that number come from?
$130 a square foot? Be 130 times 12? That's a, 130 times 1,200 is $156,000, you know?
And then you go.
You're saying that's the
How
value,
much it costs?
how much it costs to build it, okay.
That's how much it costs to build it. Then you go over to your fee schedule and you look up where $156,000 is. That tells you the price, which right now is $630.
Okay, so if you take $631 and divide it by 1,200, you're at 52 cents a square foot.
That's the way I look at it, yeah, it's the same.
So,
That's what I was trying to get.
that's what you're talking about one thing, I'm talking about something else. I mean, if we double the cost, I'm saying just $1 a square foot. If you build a 1,200 square foot house, it's gonna cost $1,200 for a permit, which is in the range of what you're talking about, if we double the fee structure. But you don't know if that's legal.
I don't know, yes, that's the thing, I don't know. I don't know if you have to base it off, I feel like you, from what I'm hearing, and I'm not in the business, you may know better than me, TJ. My understanding is the fees that you charge for a permit in the ICC. It's in there. This is what a permit should cost.
What it costs per square foot is like, it's gonna range, I mean, depending on whether you put, hardwood floors or vinyl flooring, whether you put, good plumbing fixtures or the cheapest thing you can get, solid wood doors is hollow, or, it could range, vastly. It's just, there's gotta be something somewhere that's,
If we arrive
it's
at this,
telling you.
if we arrive at a,
in the codes, it's a low end, it sort of hits the bottom, it's not extreme. So
Yeah.
the person building an extreme house is gonna get a better deal on their permit.
I mean, we almost have to bypass, I mean, we almost can't worry about that. I mean, we set the rate and then whether they lay vinyl for or whatever,
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
You know, we can't really set, I mean,
Right.
a rate. What, where the codes that he's talking about getting the rate from is, you know, pretty much how you're gonna do it. That's what the state of Tennessee is saying is a fair per square foot price. I mean, you know, if we were gonna do it, you know, I'd like to say, you know, well, it's gonna cost $200 a square foot to build a house, and we can figure it from there, but I know we can't do that, I don't think.
So then if we can't dictate what that is, then can we not just set a flat fee? $1 a square foot.
I don't know if we can. That may be the best way to go about it. I just don't know that answer.
Do we wanna make a motion do we wanna push this through tonight, or we need to wait another month? I'm willing to make a motion contingent that it's legal that we charge $1 a square foot.
So you make a motion, legal. Continue on.
Well, they did a motion out of budget to.
Or out of B,
push
to
it to
send it,
budget.
to push it to budget for discussion,
Send it to budget, I mean, what I had for them to send to budget,
was discussion on fee structure.
study, to have a study of the building codes. Revenues and expenses.
Full court still gotta approve it. I'll say I'm frustrated with B's lack of ability to get things approved all across the board. And if we have the ability to do it here, I'm saying let's roll with it. It's been discussed for months and nothing gets done.
Well, you came back to me then, that, budget committee studied it, recommended $1 per square foot.
$1 per square foot. I'll make a motion to send it back to B. Our recommendation is $1 per square foot.
all right, we have a motion on the
I
floor.
thought we already had something on the floor.
It was
Not
just
a-
general discussion. It wasn't really a motion.
We have a motion on the floor to send back to B at a recommendation of $1 per square foot.
I'm sorry.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Conversation.
Do we do anything, like, at state, just $1 per square foot?
$1 per square foot, because it's.
It's all living space.
I mean, that great room overhead, if they're considering not, by the time they get done with it, it'll sure look like a living space.
What about the detached garage?
The other question I was about to bring up, garages, detached garages.
And if it's built when when it's new construction, because that's all we're basing this
Well,
only on new construction or what?
I know
That's the other
that,
thing.
our codes guy now, if it is over, even if it's a pole barn, over, what was it, 200 square feet? Or it is either 200 or 1,200, no, it was 200. I know it was 200, because that was on a little old garage that we done, that we had to pull the permit on it because he considered that could be turned into a, barn dominium. And that's the way he's looking at it, so.
We're gonna look at that way, it's just $1 per foot.
Period. For anything, it has to have a code inspector.
Do we need an amendment to that motion to make that clear?
I'll amend my motion for $1 for a square foot on any structure that requires building code approval. Well, we're sending it back to B to approve what we've discussed, so there's time to find out if it's legal.
We had an amendment on the floor.
Okay.
We have a second for the amendment.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, voting on the amendment, to include all new structures. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll vote on the amended, motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this will be on the radar for B in February. Chad, you had one last piece of new business, correct?
I did, yes, sir. So the, next to last amendment, is the general purpose school fund, innovative school models grant. This is to reallocate funds within the grant to cover expenditures related to repairs of equipment and also to cover costs related to the eighth grade repair transportation.
This is the 1185 one, is that right, Chad? I'm making sure it's the right page.
Yeah, $1,185.61. Just moving money around within the grant, it does need to go to county commission and will be subject to school.
Okay, you've heard an explanation. I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to send to full court contingent on school board approval.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other conversation? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, amendment carries. Anybody else from the audience like to address the budget committee?
Why don't we make that, inspector a part-time position, that way we don't have to pay no benefits?
This is Connie Davis, by the way, yes, if you don't know her.
And also too, whenever the building goes down, we're not gonna be on.
I don't actually foresee our building ever getting below not needing two inspectors. I mean, it's, I mean, he was behind from whenever we started. And, I mean, yeah. I don't foresee it going down. And if it does, that'll be something to address at that time.
Also too, I think the fee should be higher, because this is mostly new construction, most people moving in here. We don't wanna raise the property tax.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you.
At the B meeting.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind for the B meeting when it's discussed. We recommended it to go back to B as our recommendation, so.
Anybody else from the audience like to address the budget committee? Okay, I'd entertain.
We have one old business.
One
that
more.
we didn't discuss. Sorry, guys.
No,
but it was-
let's do it.
So we had it on the budget from last month to put back on the agenda this month for a grant writer. And we missed getting it back on there. It was one of the last things we discussed. We didn't move on it, and we said we'd put it back on for further discussion. Yes.
So I will say I was looking as Chad was reviewing our general fund budget amendments, and the first 4 out of 5, or 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7 or actually 7 out of 8 of the things we approved tonight, I think all were grant. You take out the donation, but they were all grant related in some form. So is each department handling those internally? So tonight we did an amendment that involved a library grant. Is that, the library is handling that grant, correct?
Chad's handling the grant.
I mean, how many of these are within department? How many of these are in the finance department?
All of it goes to finance.
Well, the searching and the writing and the administrative part.
The administrative part, a lot of these grants, you have to go back and show the paperwork that you use a lot of money to,
Right.
sometimes as long as 5 years. That's
purchasing, yeah.
would probably serve him better, or serve the county better, and then serve the county better, is having a grant writer.
Is there a layer of protection we can, policy and procedure side of things, that we can put in place that allows us to not fall into some of these issues that we foresee, and then allow the departments to still,
Well, yeah, if we put, that department has to send us a report showing that they're
but if we
following up.
approve everyone that comes through, not much changes, really.
Well, but, I mean,
We're not increasing the department's capacity to administer a grant, we're just saying
but
we
if
have to
they're
approve
doing,
it.
if they're doing the part that they're supposed to do, to follow up and to make sure that the money is going to, it shouldn't be.
I'm
any
thinking
kind
more
of-
of the match grants. So if a department writes a grant that requires a 50% match, like, we need to know that. I mean, we're gonna have to appropriate.
Well, most of the grants that comes through, they tell us whether
If
it's
there's a match,
whether it's match.
I know where you're going.
Like, are those getting approved before we know about them? And then we have to match on the back end because of the department?
No.
I
Okay.
mean, they're getting awarded before you appropriate the match.
But before it's approved, before it's at least approved by you,
Yeah, I mean,
you're at least
they'll
laying
apply
eyes
for
on it,
stuff, they'll apply for stuff and get awarded, and then they come.
and you
and
don't
ask
know
for a
about it.
match.
But
It'll get
what
awarded, and then
hap-
we have to approve it. If we don't approve it, then nothing happens.
Right, exactly.
So it's not
Yeah.
going out
It's
until
not- yeah.
it comes to full court, and then.
They get awarded it, and then if we do not approve it,
But I
because we don't
don't
agree
think
with the match, then.
that's not what Denny Lane's worried about.
No, it's
It's the fact, the
long-term.
follow-up of,
If they don't follow through,
okay,
then we gotta
you
pay
know,
back the
you've got
match.
these steps that you've got to follow with this money. You have to spend so much of it for this, so much of it for that. And,
I agree, yeah.
you know,
I
if,
just-
if they're doing their grants, their own grants, and they're
Just
doing the
us
actual procedures.
approving it on the front end doesn't help that situation on the
But,
back
I mean,
end.
you know, we've still got to have somebody knowing what the
So,
procedures are
yeah,
of the grant.
If we hire
the terms of the
grant
grant.
administrator type person, do all the departments have to use that person?
No.
Well, then,
Okay, but we do not have, we can say, we go to, I don't think a department, let's say,
sheriff's department,
they'll come to us and say, we go in and say, hey, we got a grant administrator, all grants go to this person. They don't have to do that, but we don't have to approve the grant either when they come back and say, okay, we got this grant for $100,000 or $25,000 match.
I see.
We can say that goes to the grant administrator, if they say no, then we can say, we'll approve it.
Okay.
so,
So it's kind of yes and no.
so I'm hearing that Chad is typically in charge of grant administration at this,
Well,
in-
that falls back to the department.
to the departments.
For the most part, so, I mean,
You're-
it depends, it depends.
Yeah, it falls to the department, but I'm telling you,
That the buck stops with Chad and
the
budget.
buck stops right there. Y'all are the ones gonna have to
Yeah,
appropriate the
If-
money.
I mean,
If their department does something wrong, and even if we've got the 50% match, and they didn't do it right to meet the 50% match, we're on the hook
we're
for
on the hook
100%.
for the 100%, exactly. And Chad is needing a purchasing agent, purchasing person. You said it would be beneficial for your department to have a purchasing
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
So, I guess where I'm going is a lot of the grant stuff goes through, if we do a grant writer / purchasing person, could we fall under your purview, under your department to oversee that person? Can they wear both hats? Is that beneficial? Because the other conversation we have with the grant writer is, are we gonna pay them a straight salary, or are they gonna get paid, work on commissions?
I don't wanna speak for Chad, but I think a purchasing agent probably isn't gonna have a lot of free time.
Yeah, so in the thing about caveats with the purchasing agent, our bid threshold is where it's at right now, 25,000. It can be raised to 50,000 or anywhere in between. The only way that it can go above 25 is if you have a full-time purchasing agent, and that means somebody that is solely
Dedicated to that, okay?
Now, the purpose, whether we need to raise that or not, you know, I don't know, it's necessarily up to the debate, it's not the purpose of the conversation, but that's just something to keep in mind.
What percentage of your time do you spend on grants?
Less than I do purchasing.
Wait, well, that was gonna be my next, was significantly less.
Go back to your question, and Chad, I'm asking, I'm kind of speaking to you with this, so jump in. Can you have one that does both? Yes. That may be a good way to start, because, we couldn't raise our bid limit, but if we see that that's starting to be beneficial, having that person as purchasing, we can move that person more towards that, and then if we decide to raise the bid limit again, I'm not advocating for that, I think we're okay where we're at right now.
Well, then I ask you this, does it have to have a title of purchasing agent or grant writer? Could it not just be an assistant to the finance director?
Probably the first person, if you're gonna, they're gonna be purchasing, I think, I assume they have to be titled purchasing agent.
I think the, benefit of this here is, I know how him, not really raise the bid threshold, I buy a bunch of stuff, and I spend a lot of that man's time right there. He wears more hats than anybody that works for this county. I think if we can take something off his plate, you gotta do it. It's my opinion.
Well, a purchasing agent will take off, and not as much as I mean, a grant writer won't take off as much, but if they're juggling, if they're helping you in both those departments, would that still, both of those fields, would that still not be a benefit?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If we're not raising the threshold, the bid threshold, then it doesn't matter if their title is a purchasing agent or not.
Is purchasing agent the right term? I mean, with the centralized department, you as the finance director will always be the purchasing agent, correct? And you're just hiring.
Unless the county creates a separate purchasing department.
Right, is that what we're leaning toward, or?
It'll be under, no, I think you're.
We're looking for someone to work under your, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily, you have to look at the law, I don't know that you'd have to title it, maybe if, I don't know.
That's my big, I don't wanna title something incorrectly. If we're not gonna use them for strictly purchasing or strictly grant, just sounds like you just need somebody.
I'm
Just use this one.
100% agree with Jerry on taking weight off his shoulder, but I don't think we were working toward a whole purchasing department separately from
No, I don't
the
want
finance
purchasing
department.
Yeah, I agree, I don't want that at all. That's why I was looking at just a.
Extra personnel with a
just
given
person
title.
that he could delegate things to.
I'll add this to it. Is this something that is desperately needed right now, today, or is it something that needs to be a top priority on our 25 budget?
I mean, I will speak and tell you that I think that it is part of next year's budget. I think.
Okay.
I don't like adding positions during the middle of the year in general.
So,
And I think we've got a lot of priorities outside of this.
okay. Thank you. So,
Any other conversation on the grant, portion of?
I'm sure that,
Each one of the businesses have to do that. That may not ever be a problem.
we've already had a discussion on, we come close several times. That we probably got some leniency on, forgiveness on. So this is just discussion for 25 budget. Nothing that needs to be moved on today.
26 budget. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy to say it like that? All right. Any other items of discussion? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.